talked about SNL and hosts and stuff. Who's better in their respective fields? Are you better as a basketball player, or is LeBron better as an SNL host?
Wow.
You both played. You played in the All-Star game with him. He played on SNL with you.
Yeah. Look, as an SNL host, he's a hell of a basketball player.
Yeah, Bron.
No, I love that dude. I mean,
dude, the best.
We need to put this to the test. We need you and LeBron one-on-one on the basketball court, and then we need you one-on-one on the SNL stage.
Improv stage.
There's a sketch where we did characters that Bill and I did a couple times where I play like a stagehand who is just kind of a to people. We did it to Julia Louis-Dreyfus, we did it with Paul Rudd, and we did it with LeBron, and I challenged him to one-on-one in the sketch. And in rehearsal, I did go by him and then went up, and he didn't know I was going to go do a reverse layup, and I did score on him on an 8-foot goal.
And he was actually trying to
he was 100%. Yeah, he was definitely trying.
LeBron James,
yeah, he can't turn that off.
Yeah, right.
He can't turn that off. No, it's like it's a different. But it was funny because Don Roy King, who was our director at the time, who I just saw at the 50th, came up and literally brought it up. He goes. If you ever need someone to like, you know,
vouch for this,
I know it happened. I was like, thank you. So here it is. It kind of sucks to be the one telling this, you know, keeping this this apocryphal story alive. You know, I'd prefer it to be someone else, but
now you
so
have
be it.
Us two knuckleheads.
We'll
keep spreading this.
We'll spread it.
No, but he was
great.
Get
to catch some legs.
He went for it. I can't believe he hadn't come back to do it again.
Dude, he was so good, man.
He was so good.
I had
the solid gold dancer. Come on now. It was great.
The perm
and Maverick, badass. I remember Maverick sitting at the host dinner on Tuesday night. You know, when you go out with Lauren and everything, Maverick sat next to Lauren and was grilling him the whole time. And I was like, I remember sitting across from him.
I was a child.
Yeah,
in like a baby seat.
But he was asking
about anything
business.
to any.
It was like you know, Michael Corleone talking to Don Corleone. Man. It was like fantastic. I was like LeBron is. I didn't know who he was at that point. I was like, LeBron's so lucky to have this dude. This guy's got his buddy's back like big time, and asking Lauren these questions. And Lauren was so fascinated by it. It was awesome. Great. It was just like watching, you know, an icon to be, just kind of like, you know, just It was just a curious, smart dude. Those guys, good on them.
That's awesome. Just a bunch of Cleveland guys.
Yeah, that's all.
Just
making the way in the world today.
How much would your life have changed if you would have been accepted into the Blue Man Group?
I had a hunch. That's what I don't know. I mean, everything. Yeah. So, I mean, I was obsessed with that show, and I loved it. It was the opportunity I felt. I was like, oh, this would be the only chance I'll ever get to play music in front of people. And I wasn't a good enough drummer. I love the show. I think it's so funny. I think it's so brilliant, and I think it's so like subversive. I mean, it's all these things. You know, they just closed the show recently in New York, which is where I ended up. You know, I auditioned in Vegas and then got flown out there. Right, this was August of 2001, so this is right before 9/11, and it was. And I had buddies of mine that were in Blue Man Group in Vegas because they took a lot of our improv classes. We got to know them. Our shows hung out a lot, like both, you know, off stage and like, you know, at each other's houses. You know, it was an amazing time because we were this different kind of show that was sort of finding its way in Vegas, like the ones that interacted with the audience and not just you know, showgirls or again icons or magic. It was like this weird kind of thing. I remember a handful of them when I was really, it would sort of take me aside and be like, do you really want to do this? Like you're really good at talking. Like it's kind of your thing. and I was like, yeah, no, I don't care. I want to do this. I think it's so neat. And but it would be, I mean, gosh, I wouldn't have my kids. I wouldn't, you know, there's a whole bunch of stuff that'd be different. I'd be, every time I blow my nose, blue stuff would come out. My eye boogers would be blue, you know, like, who knows? I'd be a much better drummer than I am. Dude. You know, my rudiments would be solid, but.
Well, did you have to paint yourself for the audition?
Mm-hmm. Not when they flew us out.
There's gotta be a pic.
I wish
There's no
isn't.
way.
There isn't. And
you dressed up like that and didn't get a pic.
I know. But when you wear all the same color, like
This is pre-iPhone. So
it's pre-iPhone. Yeah,
right?
we had a disposable camera because they put you up in this like dorm. It was on like 13th Street, and it was all these like-minded, all of us were like 6'1" white guys, and majority of it, like if there was 10 of us, I would say 9 of them were musicians first, or 8 of them were musicians first, and I was more of an actor with like and I had been literally practicing on like a drum pad during intermissions at my Second City show, or in between shows, driving my castmates crazy, I'm sure. And yet everybody had this like fun spirit, and we were all in New York, flying in from other places. And I remember we bought a disposable camera because we got bald and blue, as they say it. They do a bald cap and the whole thing, and the cobalt blue. And so somewhere, I don't know what happened to that disposable camera, because you got cut like after 3 days, 5 days, 7 days. I imagine it's like being in a combine or like in a camp.
American Idol. Jesus.
It really was, yeah. And I got cut after 3 days, and they were like, if he could be a blue man if he worked on his drumming. And then I go home kind of defeated, and then a few weeks later 9/11, and then it was like, then that sort of like rattled us all, and like, okay, what do you love, what do you really want to do? And it was stick with Second City at that point. And so I never auditioned again. But there's a camera out there. But I know when I saw myself in the mirror, I looked at myself, and no bullshit, this isn't even like humility. I was like, I look like a blue peanut M&M. You couldn't see my cheekbones. You couldn't like my feature, any features that I have on my face just got washed out. Yeah. And I just looked like all the dudes that I was friends with all looked like male models. And I was like, oh, I think maybe I thought that if I wore this, I'd look as cool as they do. It's like, no, Jace, they look like that out of the makeup too. It looked like an upside down blue peanut M&M. It was horrible. So yeah.